There is a version of you that does not panic when things go wrong. A version of you that does not need everyone to approve of you. A version of you that can be rejected without feeling worthless, criticized without falling apart, ignored without begging for attention, and disappointed without losing control. That person is not emotionless. That person is not, and that person is not lucky. That person is mentally strong. The Stoics believed that strength does not come from controlling the world around you. It comes from controlling the one thing that has always been yours, your response. You cannot control what people say about you. You cannot control whether someone leaves. You cannot control the economy, the weather, your past, other people's opinions, or whether life gives you what you deserve. But you can control what you do next, and that simple idea can completely change your life. Welcome to Primitive Advice. Today we're going to talk about how to become mentally strong using the ancient philosophy of Stoicism. Not the fake version of Stoicism where you pretend nothing hurts. The real version. The kind that teaches you how to face pain without becoming its prisoner. Because mental strength isn't about having no problems, it's about becoming the kind of person who can face problems without losing himself. 1. Stop trying to control everything. One of the most powerful ideas in Stoicism is also one of the simplest. Some things are up to you, and some things are not. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus understood this thousands of years ago. Your thoughts are yours. Your choices are yours. Your actions are yours. Your effort is yours. Your attitude is yours. But other people's opinions, not yours. The final outcome, not completely yours. Someone else's behavior, not yours. Whether someone loves you, not yours. Whether someone respects you, not completely yours. Whether you succeed immediately, not yours. And this is where many people destroy their own peace. They spend their entire lives trying to control things they were never meant to control. Imagine spending hours worrying about whether someone likes you. You check your phone, you reread their message. You wonder why they didn't respond. You imagine what they might be thinking. You create stories inside your head, but here's the uncomfortable truth. You cannot control their opinion of you. So why are you giving them control over your peace? Mental strength begins when you stop asking, how can I control this? And start asking, what is actually within my control? If someone insults you, you cannot control their mouth, but you can control whether you insult them back. If you lose your job, you cannot control the decision, but you can control whether you spend the next 6 months complaining or start building your next opportunity. If someone rejects you, you cannot force them to choose you, but you can choose to walk away with dignity. This is not weakness. This is freedom, because the moment you stop trying to control everything, you reclaim the energy you were wasting on things that were never yours. 2. Learn to pause. Before you react. A mentally weak person reacts immediately. A mentally strong person creates space between what happens and what they do about it. Someone sends you an angry message. Your first instinct is to respond. Someone criticizes you, you immediately defend yourself. Someone disrespects you, you want revenge. Someone makes you jealous. You want to prove yourself, but Stoicism teaches something different. Pause. You don't have to respond to everything immediately. You don't have to answer every insult. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. You don't have to turn every disagreement into a war. Think about how many mistakes you've made because you reacted while emotional. Maybe you sent a message you later regretted. Maybe you said something cruel during an argument. Maybe you quit something because you were frustrated. Maybe you made a decision because you were angry. The emotion was temporary, but the consequence remained. Mental strength is learning to say, I feel this emotion, but I don't have to obey it. Anger can speak. You don't have to give it the microphone. Fear can speak. You don't have to let it make the decision. Jealousy can speak. You don't have to follow it. Sadness can speak. You can listen without allowing it to define you. There is enormous power in waiting. The next time something triggers you, don't immediately react. Take a breath, walk away, drink some water, sleep on it. Ask yourself, will this matter 1 year from now? That single question can prevent you from making decisions that damage your future. 3. Stop needing everyone's approval. One of the biggest weaknesses of modern life is the constant need for validation. We want people to like our pictures. We want people to approve of our choices. We want compliments. We want recognition. We want people to notice our success. And when they don't, we feel invisible. But here's the problem. If your confidence depends on other people's approval, then other people control your confidence. That is not freedom. A Stoic would ask, would you still do the right thing if nobody praised you for it? That's an important question. Would you still work hard if nobody knew? Would you still exercise if nobody saw your body? Would you still be honest if lying would benefit you? Would you still build your business if nobody believed in you? Would you still become a better person if nobody applauded? Real strength develops when you stop performing for the audience. You don't need to prove that you're successful. Build quietly. You don't need to prove that you're intelligent. Learn quietly. You don't need to prove that you're disciplined. Show it through your actions, and you don't need to prove your worth to people who have already decided not to see it. Your value does not increase because strangers approve of you, and it does not decrease because they don't. 4. Become comfortable with discomfort. Here's something most people don't want to hear. A comfortable life can create an uncomfortable mind. If you always avoid difficulty, your mind becomes fragile. Every small inconvenience feels enormous. Every rejection feels like the end. Every criticism feels like an attack. Every difficult task feels impossible. The Stoics deliberately practiced discomfort, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they wanted to prepare themselves for reality. You can do the same. Take a cold shower occasionally. Wake up when you said you would. Exercise when you don't feel like exercising. Put your phone away. Spend some time alone. Do difficult work without entertainment. Say no to things you don't need. Delay gratification. Walk instead of always driving when practical. Eat simply, sometimes. Work without constantly checking notifications. Why? Because every time you voluntarily experience discomfort, you teach your brain, I can handle this. That's the real benefit. You're not training your body to suffer. You're training your mind not to panic when life becomes difficult, because life will become difficult. You will lose money. You will fail. You will be rejected. You will get older. People will leave. Plans will collapse. Unexpected problems will appear. You don't become mentally strong by hoping those things never happen. You become mentally strong by preparing yourself to face them. 5. Practice negative visualization. One of the most interesting Stoic practices is negative visualization. It sounds depressing, but it can actually make you more grateful and more resilient. The idea is simple. Occasionally imagine losing something you currently have. Imagine your career disappearing. Imagine losing your financial security. Imagine living without certain comforts. Imagine that someone you love won't always be around, not to become pessimistic, but to recognize that everything is temporary. Most people don't appreciate something until they lose it. They complain about their house until they don't have one. They complain about their job until they lose it. They complain about their health until something changes. They complain about ordinary days until they become memories. Negative visualization changes your perspective. Look at your life today. Maybe it's not perfect. Maybe you have problems. Maybe you're not where you want to be. But there are things in your life right now that your future self may desperately wish you could experience again. Your ordinary morning, your family laughing, your ability to walk, your current opportunities, your freedom, your time, your youth, your friendships. These things feel permanent because you're experiencing them today. They aren't. And understand it. That doesn't make life darker. It makes life more valuable. 6. Stop complaining. Complaining feels good for a few seconds, but repeated complaining can become a habit of powerlessness. You complain about your boss. You complain about your partner. You complain about the weather. You complain about money. You complain about society. You complain about your past. You complain about other people. And eventually you become so focused on what is wrong that you stop looking for what you can do. Stoicism doesn't say that problems don't matter. It says, don't waste your energy on what cannot be changed. There is a difference between identifying a problem and repeatedly complaining about it. If your financial situation is bad, acknowledge it, then make a plan. If your health needs improvement, acknowledge it, then change your habits. If a relationship is unhealthy, acknowledge it, then set boundaries or leave. If you made a mistake, admit it, then learn. Complaining says, this shouldn't be happening. Responsibility says, this is happening. What can I do now? That second question is where your power begins. 7. Stop running from failure. Failure is one of the greatest teachers you will ever have, but most people don't want the lesson. They want the result. They want success without embarrassment, money without risk, fitness without discomfort, confidence without failure, respect without proving themselves. It doesn't work that way. Every strong person you admire has failed. The difference is that they didn't allow failure to become their identity. They said, I failed, not I am a failure. Those are completely different statements. If your business fails, it doesn't mean you're incapable of building another one. If a relationship ends, it doesn't mean you're impossible to love. If you lose a job, it doesn't mean you're worthless. If someone rejects your idea, it doesn't mean the idea has no value. Failure is an event. Don't turn an event into an identity. The Stoics understood that obstacles are not necessarily enemies. Sometimes the obstacle becomes the training. The rejection teaches you. The failure teaches you. The difficult season teaches you. The loss teaches you. The person who hurt you may teach you boundaries. The mistake may teach you wisdom. The struggle may reveal strength you didn't know you had. 8. Learn to be alone. Many people are afraid of being alone. They constantly need noise, music, social media, messages, videos, entertainment, someone to talk to, someone to validate them. But if you cannot sit alone with your own thoughts, you don't truly know yourself. Spend time alone. Go for a walk without your phone. Sit somewhere quietly. Write in a journal. Think about your life. Ask yourself, what am I actually trying to become? What am I pretending not to know? What habits are destroying my future? What am I afraid to lose? Whose approval am I chasing? What would I do if I wasn't afraid of judgment? These questions can be uncomfortable. That's exactly why they're valuable. Solitude reveals things that distraction hides. And when you become comfortable with yourself, you become less desperate for attention from others. You stop accepting terrible relationships simply because you're afraid of being alone. You stop tolerating disrespect because you don't need company at any cost. You stop chasing people who don't choose you. You become capable of walking away. That is strength. 9. Control your attention. Your attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess, and modern life is designed to steal it. Every notification asks for your attention. Every social platform competes for your attention. Every headline wants your attention. Every argument wants your attention. Every advertisement wants your attention. And if you don't control your attention, someone else will. A mentally strong person is selective. Not everything deserves a reaction. Not every argument deserves your time. Not every trend deserves your attention. Not every person deserves access to your mind. Imagine your attention as money. Would you give your money to every stranger who asked? Of course not. So why give your attention away so easily? Protect it. When you're working, work. When you're eating, eat. When you're with someone you love, be there. When you're resting, rest. When you're learning, learn. Stop living half-present. A distracted life becomes a fragmented life, and a fragmented mind struggles to become strong. 10. Build discipline. Instead of depending on motivation is unreliable. Some days you feel inspired, other days you feel nothing. If your progress depends on motivation, you will constantly start and stop. Discipline is different. Discipline says, I will do what I decided to do even when I don't feel like it. You don't need to feel motivated to exercise. You don't need to feel inspired to study. You don't need to feel confident to start a business. You don't need to feel ready to take the next step. You simply need to do the next right thing. Start small. Wake up at the time you planned. Make your bed. Finish one difficult task. Exercise for 20 minutes. Read a few pages. Complete your work before entertainment. Do this repeatedly. Every small promise you keep to yourself builds self-respect. And every promise you repeatedly break teaches your brain that your own word means nothing. Discipline is not punishment, it's self-trust. When you become someone who does what he says he will do, your confidence changes. You don't need motivational speeches anymore. You have evidence. You know what you're capable of because you've watched yourself follow through. 11. Don't let your past become your prison. Your past can explain you, but it does not have to define you. Maybe you made terrible decisions. Maybe you trusted the wrong people. Maybe you wasted years. Maybe you were lazy. Maybe you failed. Maybe you hurt someone. Maybe someone hurt you. You cannot change yesterday, and no amount of regret can rewrite it. The Stoic response is not, nothing happened. The response is, it happened. What can I learn from it? Your past should become information, not a prison. Take the lesson. Accept responsibility where necessary. Apologize where appropriate. Change the behavior. Then move forward. You don't have to keep punishing yourself for something you have already learned from. Regret can be useful once. After that, it becomes repetitive suffering. Your future needs your attention more than your past does. 12. Learn to accept reality. A lot of suffering comes from arguing with reality. You say, "This shouldn't have happened. They shouldn't have treated me that way. I shouldn't have lost. I shouldn't be here. My life should be different." But reality doesn't negotiate. The past happened. The person made their decision. The opportunity disappeared. The relationship ended. The mistake happened. Acceptance doesn't mean approval. You can accept something without liking it. You can say, "I didn't want this, but this is what happened." That sentence is powerful because once you accept reality, you can work with it. If you refuse to accept reality, you fight an imaginary version of the world. Mental strength means seeing reality clearly, not as you wish it were, not as you fear it is, but as it actually is. Then you decide what to do. 13. Choose your circle carefully. The people around you influence your standards. Spend enough time around people who constantly complain, and complaining starts to feel normal. Spend enough time around people who make excuses, and excuses become easier. Spend enough time around people who disrespect themselves, and you may start doing the same. But spend time around disciplined people, honest people, ambitious people, calm people, people who take responsibility, people who tell you the truth, people who want you to grow, and your standards begin to change. This doesn't mean you should hate people who are struggling. It means you should be careful about who gets regular access to your mind. You become like what you repeatedly consume. That includes information, that includes entertainment, and it includes people. Choose wisely. 14. Understand that death is part of life. The Stoics frequently reflected on mortality, not because they were obsessed with death, because remembering death helps you understand life. You don't have unlimited time. Every day you spend is gone forever. The conversation you had yesterday is gone. The morning you wasted is gone. The opportunity you ignored may never return. Your life is moving forward whether you are ready or not. Memento mori means remember that you will die. It sounds dark, but it can be incredibly motivating. If you knew you had limited time, would you still spend so much of it worrying about what strangers think? Would you still waste hours arguing online? Would you still delay the dream for another 5 years? Would you still stay in a situation that makes you miserable? Would you still be afraid to start? Remembering that life ends can make you finally start living it. 15. Become the person you respect. At the end of the day, mental strength isn't about appearing powerful. It's about becoming someone you respect when nobody is watching. Ask yourself, do I keep my promises? Do I tell the truth? Do I control my anger? Do I take responsibility? Do I treat people fairly? Do I work when nobody is watching? Do I stay disciplined when motivation disappears? Do I walk away from things that destroy my character? Do I live according to my values? These questions matter more than popularity, because there will always be people who misunderstand you. There will always be people who criticize you. There will always be people who don't appreciate you. You cannot control that. But you can control the kind of person you become, and that is the ultimate Stoic challenge, the 30-day mental strength challenge. Now, let's turn all of this into something practical. For the next 30 days, try this. Every morning, spend 5 minutes without your phone. Sit quietly. Think about what you need to accomplish. Then ask, what is within my control today? Choose 3 things. Not 30. 3. Do those things well. During the day, whenever something frustrates you, pause before reacting. Ask, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. If the answer is yes, act. Every day, do one uncomfortable thing. It could be exercise, difficult work, a hard conversation, saying no, turning off social media, getting up early, finishing something you've been avoiding. Every night, spend 5 minutes reflecting. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where did I lose control? What can I improve tomorrow? Don't judge yourself. Study yourself. You are not trying to become perfect in 30 days. You're trying to become slightly stronger every day. And eventually, those small improvements become a completely different person. The final lesson. Mental strength is not waking up one morning and suddenly becoming fearless. It is built quietly, one decision at a time, one uncomfortable moment at a time, one rejection at a time, one difficult morning at a time, one controlled reaction at a time, one promise kept to yourself at a time. You don't become mentally strong because life becomes easier. You become mentally strong because you become harder to destroy. You learn that rejection isn't the end, failure isn't identity, criticism isn't death, discomfort isn't danger, being alone isn't emptiness, uncertainty isn't weakness. And losing control of something doesn't mean you've lost control of your life. You always have another choice. You can choose your response, you can choose your next action, you can choose what deserves your attention, you can choose who you become. That is the foundation of Stoicism. The world will continue doing what the world does. People will change, plans will fail, markets will rise and fall, friends will come and go, opportunities will appear and disappear. Some days will be beautiful. Some days will be brutal. You will not control the storm, but you can learn to control the person standing inside it. So stop waiting for life to become perfect. Stop waiting until you feel ready. Stop waiting for everyone to believe in you. Stop trying to control what was never yours. Control your mind. Control your actions. Control your attention. Control your character. And let the rest be what it is. Because the strongest person in the room isn't always the loudest. Sometimes it's the person who was insulted and stayed calm, the person who failed and started again, the person who lost everything and still chose integrity, the person who could have taken revenge but chose peace, the person who doesn't need applause, the person who doesn't need to prove anything, the person who knows that life is temporary and therefore chooses to live deliberately. That is mental strength. And that is the kind of strength nobody can take away from you. If this message helped you, don't just listen to it, use it. Choose one principle from this video, practice it today, then practice it tomorrow, and keep going. Because philosophy means very little if it never changes the way you live. This is primitive advice. Build a stronger mind. Build a stronger life. And remember, you cannot always control what happens to you, but you can always work on who you become because of it.